I'm Austin Heyman. Welcome to Seniors Today, a monthly program produced by the Commission on Aging, devoted entirely to issues and interests of Montgomery County seniors. This month we learn about recommended vaccination schedules for seniors and an interesting program to combat osteoporosis. But first, we begin by welcoming our new council president, Nancy Florine. Well, welcome to Seniors Today and congratulations.
Thanks for having me, Austin.
Well, I know that we all know that this is a difficult financial year for the county. What do you see as some of the main concerns that the council will be focusing on this year?
Well, I really do think the budget conversation is going to consume us until July, really. Yeah. We're looking at a serious budget gap. If we were to fund what's currently in the budget and add on the natural increases, we're looking at something we can't afford. Right. Plus, income tax revenues are down, property tax assessments are going down, depending upon how you count it, 18%. We're looking at a serious revenue stream loss. Add to that the challenge that the state is facing and assumptions in the governor's budget. There are a lot of moving parts.
Plus the growth in the county. I mean, the growth of populations, which places, I guess, demands.
Well, there's serious need. You know, nearly a third of our children in the school system are on free and reduced lunch. Wow. I don't think people realize that. Yeah. And so we have a lot of pieces to get to fit together in the puzzle that's known as our budget. It's not going to be easy, and I think I am concerned that the public be aware of the difficulties we're facing. There is going to have to be some serious change in how we deliver services and community expectations, certainly this year. And we're told that the next year, in fiscal year 12, could be just as bad, if not worse. Really? So we're all buckling our seatbelts. I will tell you, Austin, what I'm trying to do is emphasize communication. I think our job as elected officials is to help our residents know what the facts are and what the pros and cons of our decisions are. So one of my big priorities as council president has been to beef up our county council website so it will be easier to follow our budget deliberations. And in fact, we have instituted a phone line which seniors might find a little more easy to use in terms of accessing us, for folks to call in and share their concerns with us.
Well, the county executive, of course, has created that senior website, which has been, I think, very helpful. And the libraries have wonderful information for seniors, of course. In terms of senior issues, are there some that jump out at you at this point?
Well, you know, it's really interesting. I've been making it a priority to meet with various senior groups throughout the county on just to meet and listen and exchange information and hear what's on their minds. And what I have learned is not to assume anything about our senior population. Our senior population is engaged. They are highly educated and very thoughtful. And a senior that I might be speaking to about a budget issue might have the equal concern about an education issue because of their deep roots in the community or the fact they have grandchildren or children. So one thing I've learned is don't assume anything about our senior population.
Well, of course, it's a very diverse population.
Well, they're in the game. And you're due to some degree, I think, to your tremendous leadership in advocating for seniors' engagement in all of this.
Well, thank you. I know that you have, in the past, focused on transportation as a real concern of yours. And of course, for those seniors who eventually don't drive, it's a major issue. I mean, I personally think that the suburbs, as they designed in America, are really not designed for seniors. And so we have an issue there that, I mean, this year we may not be able to solve, but ultimately, with all the bus routes and the metro and everything, we still have, that's an issue that we still haven't solved, in my view. I don't know how you see that.
Well, you know, my father died a couple of years ago.
Yes, I think I remember, if I remember you talking with the commission about that, he was almost 104.
104. I took his car keys away from him when he was 94. Which was not easy. So I know and I know with my mom, she was legally blind before then, and she was much younger, but she had, when the state told her that she couldn't drive, she couldn't pass the eye test, she was devastated. I know how hard it is for seniors to lose that sense of independence. I've lived with it. And it's really tough. But the challenge is how we help them adjust to changing times and expectations. Do we want our seniors to feel that the best place for them is in an isolated suburb, farther away from their church and friends and community activities? Or would it be better for them to consider a different living choice, so that they're closer to activities? I moved my parents down here as they aged. I came from Massachusetts, and I will say it made the biggest difference in the world when my mom could go out the door and go play bingo, while my dad, who was older and less engaged, could stay in the room. And that is a challenge I think our senior population is struggling with. I know my cohort, I'm 50, how old am I? 58. I'm getting there, and my husband and I have a good-sized home. Our children are gone. We have more space than we need. And is this the right choice for us?
Well, of course, then there's the issue of affordable housing.
Yeah.
And that's been a challenge in the county, and you've worked on that, I know. One of the, we had there was a study done, I think. One of the shortages in the county, which is a long-term issue, is affordable assisted living facilities. That's huge. A big, that's not going to be solved in this year, but that a long-term issue is that, I think. The whole issue of jobs, of course, affects all of us, and I think you've had, I think you sponsored a job fair a few years ago, and of course now the county is supporting the JCA Over 50 Expo. How do you see the job situation?
Well, I think our whole conversation is changing here in the county. We've never had to talk about unemployment before. We just had a report come out that showed Fairfax has 200,000 more jobs than Montgomery County. That's an issue in terms of how our people get good paying jobs, how far they have to drive, and how we build an economy that can sustain all the good things we want, all the services, the investment in the school system, hopefully improvement in senior services and health services, and the whole range of needs that are out there in a big time way. So I did have a job fair this fall. It was designed to help people prepare themselves for the job market and look at new opportunities and assist people in resume writing, connecting with job potentials. And I will tell you, there are plenty of people who are not young who are in the job market right now.
Oh, sure.
And how we address their needs is going to continue to be a challenge.
So let me ask you, my last question, as we're about out of time, is do you have some personal priorities that you would like to see accomplished as council president?
Well, my priority at this point is to get us to a sustainable budget, help the council move to a decision on how we handle our fiscal distress. That's my number one objective right now. And the second objective related to that is, can we focus our conversation on the future? Are we positioning the county to take advantage of our great resources here so that we can get those jobs here, our people employed, and the tax base expanded so that we don't have to keep going to the property tax and that significant burden on taxpayers and our elders to keep the county going in the right direction.
Well, that's a big task.
No
and we
problem.
certainly wish you well in the difficult year that is ahead.
I'm going to need everybody's help.
Thanks so much for coming in. When we return, we'll talk about seniors and what we should know about vaccinations. So please stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Seniors Today. Given the recent worries about the H1N1 virus and the availability of a vaccination, we thought we'd invite my next guest to help shed some light on the subject. He's Mark Hodge, a public health nurse administrator with the county. Well, welcome to Seniors Today, Mark.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The H1N1, we've heard a lot about this virus, and here it's now February, and we should still get the vaccination?
Absolutely. This is a very interesting flu virus. It appears to be a year-round virus. It never went away over the summer like most flu viruses do. We saw a lot of peaks and valleys in the amount of disease out there. Our biggest peak in October, but there's always a potential for a third peak in a pandemic. So that's what we're trying to ward against now by vaccinating as many people as we can.
Now, older adults were told that kind of we're at the end of the list, and we were not. Maybe because we had some possible immunity, but
right.
That's not necessarily the case?
Well, initially that was the case when there was some concern about the amount of vaccine that was available to everybody. They wanted to get these priority groups, and there were young children and pregnant women, right. And seniors were kind of last on the list. But at this point, we have plenty of vaccine for anybody who wants it. We want to be able to give it to whoever wants it. So we're planning lots of clinics, and we're giving a lot of vaccine now still.
Well, I got my shot.
Good, great.
Where do we, if I wanted to sign up though, if somebody watching would like to sign up, how do they go about doing that?
Yes, we have two possible ways of making an appointment, and all of our clinics are by appointment. They can go to the county website, and it's www.montgomerycountymd.gov. And right there on the front page when you first get there is H1N1 information. You click on that, and it takes you right to the page to sign up for a vaccine. If you're unable to get onto the web, we have every Monday we have a phone call. It's 240-777-4040, and it's an appointment line, and from 1 to 3 every Monday. And if you can't get online to make your appointment, you can make your appointment through the phone.
But where are these clinics offered?
Right now we're doing 3 clinics at libraries throughout the county. So it's at different libraries, and so they're in a community. They have easy access. All of our February clinics will be in the evening, so between 4 and 7 p.m., so people who have to work can come after work. We're also in the process now of setting up clinics in the different senior centers across the county. So look for those throughout February because we'll have plenty of them available for that month.
Now, if you've gotten the regular flu shot, that's not going to help you.
That's not going to help you. The seasonal flu is completely different from H1N1, and the
it's
H1N1.
Been pretty mild.
And it has been very mild, yes. If people got their flu shots or seasonal flu shots, it was probably around September, October, really early in the season, probably earlier than they normally would get their shots. But that was in anticipation of getting the H1N1 and having that vaccine available. So now we want to vaccinate everyone against the H1N1. Seasonal flu, if you got your vaccine, that's wonderful. That's something you have to get every year, and we expect that next year the H1N1 and the seasonal flu will all be one vaccine.
Oh, great!
So the companies are already saying that.
That's cool. That's good.
Yeah.
Well, now there are some people who have chronic conditions, and I wonder, are there some people who shouldn't get it, or?
Those who have egg allergies should not get it. The virus is grown before it's killed and put into the vaccine. It is grown in eggs, and so there is some particles of eggs left. So if, some people have reactions.
If you had a heart condition or some kind of lung problem,
no. In fact, those are the ones who should get the vaccine because they're at higher risk for complications from the seasonal flu and from H1N1. So those with chronic conditions like asthma and heart disease, diabetes should definitely get their flu vaccine.
What about other vaccinations? What about, for older people, are there other things that one should go about?
There are. And there's a new one, the shingles vaccine. It's called Zostavax. It was just approved in the last year or so by the FDA, and it will help prevent shingles. And I know that's an issue, absolutely, with the senior population. So you can get that at your physician. If your physician doesn't happen to offer that vaccine, your local pharmacist will. So if they have a prescription from their doctor, they can take it to their local pharmacist. Pharmacists can now give vaccinations, and oftentimes they'll do that. So Zostavax is the new one. It's important. Pneumococcal is also a vaccine that seniors want and get.
For pneumonia.
For pneumonia, absolutely. And that's a one-time shot if you're older than the age of 65. If you are younger than 65 and you get your vaccine, that's great, but you'll need a booster shot after you turn 65.
Right. So those are the two most
Those
important.
are the two big ones. Yeah, tetanus every 10 years, but they usually wait until you're exposed if you step on a nail or you think you've been exposed to tetanus. But those are the two big ones, the shingles and the pneumonia.
Now, I know that the shingles vaccine is fairly expensive. I don't know that insurance covers it. The H1N1 that we were talking about earlier, that's now free this year, is that right?
It is. The federal government paid for all of the doses of the H1N1 vaccine, so it's free. If you go to one of the county clinics, it's free. If you go to the CVS or one of the other community vaccinators, they probably will charge you an administration fee, anywhere between $15 and $25. They can't charge you for the cost of the vaccine, but they can charge you for administering it. But at the public health clinics, they're all free.
So the message is to sign up and get your shot.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, as quickly as possible.
Well, thanks for coming in today and sharing very important information for all of us.
Absolutely.
When we come back, we'll conclude today's show with a look at a new program helping seniors to strengthen their bones, so please stay with us. Welcome back to Seniors Today. Bone Builders is a community-based osteoporosis prevention education program for older women and men, and its chapters all around the country. Here to tell us more about the program and other exercise-related issues for seniors are Sean Brennan, Program Manager for Senior Health Promotion at the county's Department of Health and Human Services, and Judy Zilkowski, a volunteer with Bone Builders. Well, welcome to Seniors Today.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bone Builders. What is this program?
Well, actually, it's a program that focuses most on exercise, weight training, weight lifting specifically, and balance.
And you're involved with Bone Builders. How are you involved?
Well, I am an instructor for one of the 11 programs that the county runs. My group is 20 men and women who have diagnosis of osteoporosis, osteopenia, and we operate out of the Potomac Community Center 2 days a week. We have a series of balance and weightlifting exercises that are designed specifically to improve bone density and balance.
Do you have to have osteoporosis to get into the class?
You know, we try to limit the or give priority to those people who have that diagnosis.
Okay.
Though the exercise, any exercise, is good for moving and flexibility and even the social aspects of the exercise.
Now, how did you get into this?
To be honest with you, I have a history of osteoporosis in my family, and I recently was retired. Saw an ad in the Gazette looking for volunteers in this bone building program, and I thought, here you go. I could take care of my own personal needs, and then at the same time wanted to give back. So that's how I got involved about 2 years ago.
How many sites of this program do we have?
Well, we have about 6 sites. Some of those sites have 2 classes that are available there. And it's neat because we're partnering with a church, we're partnering with the Recreation Department, Montgomery County, and some of their centers, and then we're partnering with City of Tacoma Park, Gaithersburg, and Rockville.
So it's kind of all over the county.
We're trying to get them all over, yeah.
And so in each class, there are about how many folks?
We can comfortably accommodate 20 people. But much more than that, you run into a problem because you're trying to provide individual attention, and there is certainly when you're working with weights, you have to be sure that the technique is correct. So you don't want to have too many folks that you can't sort of keep an eye on everybody as they're doing the exercise.
And the class is how long?
It's an hour.
It's an hour.
It's an hour 2 days a week, and ideally you should be doing it an extra day. So we encourage our students to do this once on the weekend on their own.
So if I want to sign up for this class, how do I go about doing that?
Well, people are welcome to call me at 240-777-2222. 1350. I can tell them which class is nearest to them and whether or not there's a waiting list or there's some spots available at the class that is
I hear you got waiting
lists
for a lot of these classes.
We do. I think this year in particular, for some reason, people in the county are really becoming aware of the importance of strength training. And it's really good to see, because strength training is something that people didn't really understand as being important to health. And it's key not only to preventing osteoporosis and fractures that can come along with that, but preventing falls and being able to continue to function.
Right.
You know, to be able to walk upstairs without it hurting. You know, just to be able to keep doing the normal activities that folks want to do.
We find the seniors in Montgomery County have already figured out the need for cardiovascular fitness, and everyone is participating, even at the very least walking around at the mall.
Walking or running or treadmills.
Absolutely,
and that kind of thing.
absolutely. But this, and actually this was my first introduction to any type of weight training, you can't regenerate bone unless you do weight training. And that was something that I didn't know, and I think it's something that the seniors in the county are just beginning to realize as well. And I think that's part of the reason we're getting such an overwhelming interest in the program.
Now, if I'm still on the waiting list, are there other things that one can do in the meantime?
Sure. A lot of times when folks call and they have to be on the waiting list, I'll mention this book. This is called Strong Women Stay Young.
Strong Women Stay Young.
Yes, although it applies to men as well.
Okay.
Osteoporosis does affect men, and more so as they get older. The author of this book was the primary researcher that discovered that weight training could lead to actual improvement in bone density. So this book actually takes people through specific exercises that they can do at home. Now, reality is that it can be hard for people to exercise on their own. That's why it's nice to have a group and to have that social support. But if they're on a waiting list, this is one option. And another is to take advantage of the fact that the recreation centers in Montgomery County, those which have fitness rooms that have weight machines, those rooms are free to older adults, 55 and older, Monday through Friday from 9 to 2.
That's right. I think we've talked about that once before, and that's a new development during the last year, I think.
The response has been overwhelming. People are really taking advantage of this opportunity.
Is that what they call the Silver Sneakers program?
Silver Sneaker, I think.
Yeah.
They do have to register, but it's free. They just need to kind of get you in the system, and I think most people understand that. And then you have free access between 9 and 2.
And there are quite a few facilities around the county that offer this then.
Definitely. Community centers, community recreation centers. Potomac is one. Folks can look on the website under the recreation department for facilities.
So I guess you got into this kind of later in life then. I mean, did you do exercises before?
Well, I had always done aerobic and cardiovascular. I run.
Oh,
but
really?
I had never done any weight training. And it wasn't until I had my own bone density examined that I realized the only way you could ever have any impact on that result was to do weight training. And I didn't want to take any of the medicine. And I find that a lot of the students in my class are of the same mindset. They don't want to have to take the medication, so they're going to try the exercise route before they go down that road.
And what's been really neat is that even though this program is designed to increase bone density, we have heard so many other benefits of participating. Some people have said, I don't take antidepressants anymore since I've been going to Bone Builders.
And last month with the snowfall, I had more than one individual from my class come and tell me that, you know what, I would have fallen on the snow-covered sidewalk had I not been participating in this program. I feel my balance is so much better than it was a year ago.
I suspect that another thing that may happen if you go to this class, how many sessions do you go to?
I go twice a week.
No, I mean, yeah, but it's all year?
It's all year.
All year.
It's all year.
So you become part of a class, so there may be also, you develop some friendship. There's sort of a socialization.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Support group for one another.
We try to keep them going to the extent that we can based on the site that we use. Some sites, they use their facility for summer camps, so in some cases we take a break. But if possible, we keep them going continuously because the need to do these exercises never stops. There's no cure for osteoporosis.
Well, the county is kind of rich in these facilities. I know we've talked in other programs about not only the Silver Sneaker program, but the aquatic center, you know, the wonderful swimming opportunities too.
Now, swimming is an excellent activity for older adults and for people with arthritis. It doesn't do anything for bone density, but it's good for cardiovascular fitness, certainly.
Yeah, well, we have to deal with the whole human being.
Right, right.
And then also we have the Senior Olympics again in the county, so that those who are really ambitious can compete.
Can compete.
Well, it's really interesting to hear about this. Is this a fairly new program then?
Well, this program's been going on for 3 years, and it's just been slowly expanding from 4 locations and 4 classes to about 6 locations and 11 classes. And it really relies on the willingness of people like Judy to give their time.
Do you need to have, do you have a volunteer training program?
We do. In March, we have another training. So
if people want to sign up to be leaders,
by all means, give me a call, because we like to have at least 2 leaders per site. So I'm at, again, 240-777-1350. I'd be happy to get folks in the
Thanks for coming in to tell us about a really interesting program that apparently other people have discovered because there's a waiting list for some of these sites. Well, that's it for this edition of Seniors Today. As always, thank you for watching.
Looking for information on services for seniors? Caring for an elderly relative? Find information about a variety of Montgomery County programs, as well as resources in the community at www.montgomerycountymd.gov/senior. Without a computer? Call the Senior Resource Line at 240-777-3000. Monday and Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 8:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.